Welcome once again back to the lab, y'all. It is your old Professor Pilk, and as you guys know, tonight we have the Terror Raid incoming for Ms. Magius. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to have access to my Switch this evening, but what I thought I'd do is kind of discuss general tactics, and what I thought would be really fun is to, over the weekend, I'll just drop a few builds here and there, both on YouTube Shorts and over on TikTok as well. So if you haven't subscribed to either one of those, make sure you subscribe, obviously, now to YouTube. And then I'll drop my TikTok link in the description down below. Great way to just get some general fun builds that you guys can go through. And as you guys know, I don't just like to build just, the random things that everyone's building that you can get in this game. I like to build some of the more fun ones that are just kind of off the wall and a little crazy. So my recommendation is if you want those builds, subscribe today. There you go. There's my product placement. Let's get into this. Now, because the event hasn't launched, what I've got here is I've got a 6-star raid. And we're going to use this kind of as our litmus test. Now, as far as building a Mon goes, main thing you want is you want a Dark-type Mon. Now, Hydreigon's a Mon that I've had sitting around, not really doing a whole heck of a lot with. I used him a long time ago in another raid, and now he's just kind of sad. So, what I've done is I've outfitted him here with Shell Bell. Now, Shell Bell, as you guys know, is kind of our go-to item. It is going to heal you based on the amount of damage you produce. It really is kind of the best bet, an all-rounder for raids in general. Now, I'm going to be sitting in the way a little bit. He does have Levitate, but it's not going to be terribly important to this incoming raid. I just don't see it as being a hugely important factor in this. But the moveset here is actually pretty important. Now, in this particular build, I had put everything into special attack and physical defense. My recommendation would either be go HP or special defense over physical defense, obviously, because it is Ms. Magius, and she is all special attack. But I'm not changing this build just because it's there and it's already there. And as you guys know, Ms. Magius is already she's only going to be level 75. And do bear in mind, we're going to go into a 6-star raid, not a 5-star raid. And there's a massive difference, and you'll see it here shortly. So HP or physical or special defense, would be better than physical defense. But I'm not changing anything here. And to be fair, I don't even have the berries to change that. So it is what it is. So really, like, ability and EVs aren't hugely important here. If you're at level 100, you should easily be able to handle most everything coming out of this raid. Now, like I said, with my special attack up, that's going to help me drastically. Now, in fairness, Miss Magius is a special defender as well. She has really good special defense. But if I'm totally honest here, it's just not the end of the world, because being level 75 and you being level 100 going into this, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Especially if you're running this with any friends. Now, move-wise, all I've got here is Nasty Plot, Terra Blast, and Dark Pulse. And I'll be honest with you, Terra Blast isn't even what I plan to use. It's just, if it happens, it happens. Now, mine is Dark and Dragon. A Pure Dark will actually have a lot of resistance to the Ghost moves. So that actually could help you out. This is actually going to be a Chandelure fight, so there's going to be a lot of fire going on. But you will actually be able to defend even better than I will here. And as you'll see, it's just not going to be a huge deal because of the Shell Bell. So, Nasty Plot and Dark Pulse will be really good. Do bear in mind that because she is a ghost type, your normal moves, notice the Terra Blast is normal, but remember, once I terrestrialize, that's going to become a dark move. Your normal moves, your ground moves, because she is levitating, your fighting moves, all those are completely ineffective. So you really want to focus on either Ghost or Dark, and do bear in mind, she is going to be super effective against Ghosts. Now, that said, we could try out Gengar a little bit later and see how Gengar does. Gengar actually has the ability to potentially do pretty well here, and the nice part is Gengar's pretty much already prepared as well because of the last set of raids that we had. So there's a distinct possibility you might be able to get away with a Gengar build here. Now, I'll have to try that out to see if that works, but let's go ahead and jump in. So the big thing here is Dark with a Dark Terra. That's going to be kind of your key to victory. Alright, so I'm just going to jump into the raid, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably get close to the end, and then we'll go try out Gengar just to see if Gengar can. And we'll probably just have to give Gengar like Dark Pulse or something as an attacking move, but it just is what it is. Alright. Now, do bear in mind that Ms. Magius is going to behave slightly differently, and I wouldn't be surprised if she put up her barrier at a little bit of a different time. But it's going to be close enough. You get the gist of how this works at this point. So I'm going to open up a Dark Pulse. The whole reason I'm opening up the Dark Pulse, number one, Terra Blast isn't going to do anything. It's a normal move until I Terrastalize. Number two, I could buff at this point, but I really want to Terra pretty early. And you'll notice we're already producing damage. Now, sadly, I've been afflicted with a burn. That is unfortunate, but I'm not taking that as a downside quite yet. Plus, remember, burn is going to cut my physical attack in half, but since I'm a special attacker, it don't matter. And Miss Magius probably won't have any fire moves, I don't think. So I don't think you have to worry about that too much. Alright, he just nullified our status changes. I don't know when she's going to do it, but I'll be honest with you guys, you probably won't need to worry about status too much, as you'll see here in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a third Dark Pulse. And after this point, we can now Terrastalize. Now, you're going to have two options at this juncture. Obviously, you want to Terrastalize. For me, I'm burned, so I really need to keep my eye on my health. But I'm not terribly worried, if I'm totally honest here. So I'm going to Terra, and I'm going to go ahead and hit him with a Dark Pulse and see how much damage it produces. My opponent here is paralyzed. That's just going to help me out kind of getting through this. But don't bank on that. You want to, be able to kind of tank a lot of that incoming damage. But right now, like I said, Chandelure is not really a threat. He will put up his barrier probably after this. Alright, so we did a good amount of damage, but I really want to kind of produce a little bit more. Number one, I'm not getting him down far enough, fast enough. Number two, and the main thing that I'm worried about here is I'm not healing as much, which stinks because I'm burned. But in the Miss Magius fight, I don't think you have to worry about that too much. Still, I'm going to use Nasty Plot to increase my special attack. You can actually either increase special attack or you can decrease special defense. Any one of those would be totally viable. And once again, I don't suspect she's going to be able to produce enough damage to really make this scary at all. Alright, so now I need some healing, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick heal. And then I'm also doing damage. Bam. If you need a cheer heal, go for it. I am burned, so I probably will have to here shortly. But notice that even after one of those buffs, I'm still good to go. Alright, when is he going to put up his barrier? I think he put it up by now. Alright, so I'm going to do one more Nasty Plot. The Paralyze is actually helping out. He's just foregoing his barrier, and I don't know why. I kind of figure Miss Magius is going to put up her barrier, like, instantly. So let's go ahead and do one more attack and see where we're at. So bear in mind, this is with two Nasty Plots, and that is 4 ticks on our special attack, and 2 more of those and he's dead. I don't even have to Nasty Plot anymore. And bear in mind, this is a 6-star, not a 5-star. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to back out and see if Gengar's any good. Now, the thing to bear in mind with Gengar is that Gengar is a Ghost type, and he has a Ghost Terra. Now, I could give him a Dark Terra, but I want to see how the Ghost moves do and see if it really is that much of a disadvantage, considering he is pretty bulky. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and step out here for a moment. So Dark Team, no-brainer. Dark Team is going to annihilate the opponent. But I want to know about this Ghost Team, and I honestly don't know. I'm on the fence, considering Gengar is bulky enough, produces enough damage, and is level 100 versus the level 75. I'll have to play it by ear. I'm about 50-50 on this. It could work, it might not. So let's go ahead and give Gengar our Shell Bell, and we'll put Gengar in slot 1. Actually, I don't necessarily have to do that, but it is what it is. So let's check our summary real quick and make sure he is Ghost. Oh, I'm sorry, he's Poison Terra. He is Poison Terra. Let's just see how the Ghost moves do, and we'll make a choice on that. But do bear in mind, once you Terrastalize, you're going to be taking a lot more damage because you are going to be pure Ghost. But let's just try this out and see. I don't know if I have anybody that has a Ghost Terra that's level 100, but we can find out real quick. I honestly do not know. So let's search the box. What about... but he's fighting, and he's a fighting Terra anyway. So Terra type. Let's see if we have any Ghost Terras. I don't think so. Maybe Giratina. Okay, let's see. Mimikyu. Okay. I do have Flutterwing. Let's see. Giratina. Okay. Let's see what happens here with Giratina. I don't 100% know if this is going to work. Okay, and we'll give Giratina. Now, Giratina is really bulky, really strong. Obviously, being a legendary is going to be really, really, really nice to this. But being a ghost, I don't honestly know. Let's see what ghost moves that she has. And don't tell me Giratina is not a female. So we have Shell Bell. Cause them to spend more PV. It's not really gonna. The ability once again isn't gonna be that big of a deal. I don't have a lot of EV training here, so this is kind of a neutral situation. Special attack is really high, so we've got Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, Dragon Claw, and Hex. I don't have any buffing moves, so let's see if Giratina can pull this off without any buffing moves. This is kind of a, I don't want to say a worst case scenario because Giratina is a legendary and will have really, really, really high stats. But unless I change Gengar over to a Ghost-type Terra, I don't know. And with the Ghost Terra on Giratina, that'll be a good representation of how much damage you can expect to take. So let's take a look here. And I don't know if Giratina actually has any buffing moves, honestly. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But we're just going to kind of use this as our litmus test. So I'm going to try to Terra pretty close to early. Let's see what happens here. I have a distinct feeling we'll probably take a lot of damage, but I don't know how many ghost moves he's got, so let's just go ahead and open up a Shadow Ball and see what happens here. And once again, I need you to keep in mind that this is a 6-star, not a 5-star, so there's a distinct possibility that this could be even easier tonight when we get Mr. Evis in here. So, Shadow Ball again. And then we really want to see what that Terra does. That terrestrialization is going to be the big decision maker. We are producing damage, but how much will we receive once that Terra goes up? Okay, you're going to hit us with Shadow Ball. Ooh, that hurt. That hurts. So maybe Ghost is not the way to go, even with a... a legendary. Now, I might be able to buff. It's going to be hard to tell. But I don't think that Shell Bell is going to do enough. So you definitely want to stick with Dark. Dark is going to kind of be your easier tactic here. Giratina pull it out, though, I don't know. And honestly, I think part of the problem is Giratina is not going to have a... not going to have any buffing moves or debuffing moves here. So... I think that's going to kind of be our biggest deficit, and I think that is going to get us killed. But as you saw, with the Dark type, it is a no-brainer. I just like to leave other options on the table, obviously. Now, do bear in mind, there's a lot of other things you can do that are going to be neutral. Obviously, Psychics are completely out. Psychics are going to get wiped out. So Psychic, Ground, Normal, and Fighting, those 4 are off the table. But you can actually use a number of other Pokemon. One of the favorite things I want to try here is with Ash Greninja, but I want to see what happens to Giratina first. And the main reason with Ash Greninja is I actually found out recently that while that unit does still work in this game, he works a little bit differently. He gives himself a buff when he takes somebody out, and it still works when you take out a partner character. So in other words, if I actually target... Let's go ahead and do this real quick. So he's not producing as much damage as I thought he would. So I can actually, let's do Shadow Ball. I can target anybody else on my team. So if I used Shadow Ball and took out Garnackle, and I was using Ash Greninja, that would give me the buff. Now, it's a one-time only buff, and you don't actually go through the transformation anymore. But you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I am shocked Giratina is holding her own. Let's see what this does here. Yeah, okay. That's kind of what I expected. So, probably what we'll do is I'm going to do an attempt with Ash Greninja and just see how that plays out. Like I said, I really do enjoy these crazy off-the-wall builds, but I think the honest answer is Ghost Terra is out. You really want to do stick to Dark Terra, and that Dark Terra will wipe the floor with your opponent. So, and Dark Terra is going to have natural resistances to the Ghost moves that are going to be evident here. So let me hold on to this raid. Let's try a couple more things. We'll be back all weekend with some fun builds for this that you guys can continue to work on, and just the whole point is just to have fun with this raid. So like, comment, share if you haven't already, and do bear in mind we will have an entire weekend of brand new builds just for this raid, things that will help you going forward as well, and both here and on TikTok. So subscribe, and I'll see you guys again here real soon.